Imagine it never happened. Imagine.
What's going on, everybody? Y'all know who this is. Michael T. Johnson the second. Here with Faithful and Fresh. What's happening with y'all? What's happening with y'all? I'm locked in. As y'all can see, I'm looking presentable. Man, whether you from Facebook, cuz, what's up, Marlon? What's happening, baby? Whether you from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you at, make yourself seen. Make sure that you like, share, comment, all that other stuff that everybody else asks for. I'm gonna ask you for it too. Hey, babe. Wife is on there. You already know, cuz it's only one way to do it. Suited and booted, man. Hey, in 2025, we still wearing suits, even on a Tuesday. Hey, Ty, what's happening with you? What's happening? What's happening? Finally caught the live, yes, sir. Hey, there is no other reason to be on social media this late than to watch. Faithful and fresh. Shout out to the Faithful Few. Y'all know who y'all are. If y'all don't know what the Faithful Few is, it's a monthly subscription that you have coming in at just $10 a month. Your contribution, you have access to videos that I exclusively do just on Patreon. So if you haven't already got it, make sure that you do it. Whether you're watching this actually live or from years from now, the Patreon will still be open. I'm about to get straight to it. I don't want to hold y'all. It's already 9:17, and I know that y'all 17 minutes past y'all bedtime, so I don't want to hold you too much longer than you. Chelsea, what's happening with you? Happy anniversary to the Atkins as well. Yeah, anniversary was a couple of days ago. I think maybe two days ago. I just seen it on my Instagram or Facebook, one of the two. So shout out to y'all. I love y'all. All right, so today what we're going to discuss tonight, I left my iPad at the house, and I've been ripping and running all day, and I still have my trusty handy dandy notebook from my daughter, and so I just wrote down some all right, and so I wrote down some notes, and I had a couple events that happened today. I found out, man, one of my favorite R&B artists of all time, D'Angelo, passed away today, man. Rest in peace. We love you. If you are from, I'm the last of the 80s babies in 89. If you grew up in the 90s, you were a kid, you had to know who D'Angelo was, one of the greatest male and greatest R&B artists of all time, honestly. But yeah, I just want to shout him out. I would have been remiss. I should have just actually played one of his songs today, but I don't know if Facebook done already. You know, I got kind of low-key blocked from TikTok, man. I didn't do some of the stuff. So anyways, all right, boom. Let me get out the way. All right, let me get out the way. All right. Fragrance of the day was Louis Vuitton Imagination. And candle is still this oak and rye. In the back, I have some saffron and jasmine. And I have like a honey kind of fragrance that I have over there as well. So, all right. Now, if you have not already seen the title is Ready, Set, Go. All right. Have you ever saw someone living inside of their purpose and they're happy, and you see them, and initially you're happy, and next you feel kind of sad? And the reason why you feel sad is not the jealousy part. It's a part of you identifies that you aren't living in your purpose. All right. They're living in their purpose and they're living good, and it seems like everything is going right for them. And then you look at your life and you say, man, that's so good for them. I'm so happy for them. And then you, after all of those congratulatory wishes and prayers and everything for them and remarks and comments, then you look back at your life and say, man, all right, can you pin the link to Patreon? You know what? I don't know how to actually, let me see if I can actually do this through here. But yeah, then you at that point end up identifying. Let me see if this works. Nope, it don't work. You identify that, you know what, hey, you know what, I don't think, yeah, I don't think it's gonna let me do the link because, oh, maybe it do. Maybe it does. But you see their life, you identify that it's beautiful and that you're happy for them. And then a part of you feels sad because you look at your life and you look at the decisions that you've made up until this point that's got you to this place. You've identified that there's some things that you have or haven't done with your body. There's some things that you have or haven't done with your finances. There's some things that you have and haven't done with your relationship with God. There's some things that you have and haven't done with your children. There's some things that you have and haven't done in some romantic relationships. All right. And this person, whether they are or they aren't, they're in this place seeming like they got it going on. So instead of bringing them down, let's bring you up. All right, let's bring you up. If you ready, put in the comments, ready. Even if you're watching this on a playback and you watching this, just put ready in there, just so I identify you later on when I go back and make sure I answer all the questions and I like all the comments. Make sure you go put ready. Go back to my Instagram and see if here we go. Now, there we go. Oh my God, y'all going crazy. All right. Now, first we have to identify that there is a mindset that sometimes paralyzes us. I'm not going to say you. You know what? Everybody sometimes can get really self-absorbed. So let me say you. All right. There are some mindsets that, really paralyze us, really keep us incapacitated, and it stops us from actually doing some of the things that we actually want to do. Now, it's one thing that if I'm coaching you through it and I'm telling you, hey, why don't you go do this? Why don't you go do that? There's another thing when it's you that wants to do a thing, whether that's investment, whether that's getting your body together. Like I said, whether it's you wanting to get back into the dating pool, whether it's you wanting to do a networking event, whatever the thing is, there is a mindset that keeps us from moving forward. All right. And in this case, the reason a lot of times that we end up doing this is because we're nervous or we're already creating a reality or an outcome that runs along with our fear, runs along with our nervousness, and it creates a reality. So what I identify as this is that I know that when we talk about a mindset, that mindset comes from your being. All right. That comes from your being. The way that you are as a person has now shown up in your mindset, which now stops you from doing a certain thing. Maybe that being, maybe that mindset in your belief system is, you know what? Social media is a young person's thing. I can't do that. I don't know the trendy dances. I don't know how to gritty. I don't know how to do the Chris Brown. You might not know how to do all that. All right. And maybe in your belief system, you're thinking that, hey, you know what? Success through social media isn't me. You know what? Starting this business at this age isn't me. You know what? Maybe I'm too old to go to the military. Hey, maybe my career can't change at this age. Maybe I might as well just stay in retail. Whatever the thing is, your belief system is now a part of who you are, and now it's preventing you from doing. So I identify that the fear and the nervousness, it is natural to experience nervousness, but we have to be able to persist even in our nervousness. All right. You have to be able to execute a level of intentionality, even if you're nervous. Today we were at, he said, my gritty is solid. Today we were at at this career tech program that I was working at, and I had a particular student that had some clippers, and he had some family members do some stuff to him. He didn't have any clippers or whatever at this point. He got out the class because he was like, you know, if I don't got my clippers and stuff, I might as well get out the class. He never talked to me. He gets back into class, and today he says, Mr. Johnson, he said, I just thought about it last night that I really want to actually take barbering serious. He said, if I can take this sport serious, I could take barbering serious. And so I was telling him, I said, I'm gonna just say, let's say his last name is Johnson. All right. I said, Mr. Johnson, I said, it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to think, you know, I don't want to mess somebody's hair up. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine, because this is something that you can do at your own pace. Now, there is a tempo in which you are able to just move at. You don't have to move as fast as me. You don't have to move as slow as me. Whatever you think, whatever pace you don't have to move at my pace. There is a pace that is perfect for the person you are. Wow, that was a bunch of P's. But there is a pace that is perfect for the person you are, as well as the position that you hold. All right. And so what I was telling him is that, hey, one of the beautiful things about barbering is at this point, you might take 5 days of just really just taking a low speed, and then you can just hit it and then say, you know what, I want to turn it up, and your pace can pick up tremendously. All right. So what I wanted to create that as a parallel, because I was showing him another student, and I had another student that he doesn't cut as much, right? But I brought him in to be a helper, and man, he was doing free haircuts. Now, his skill set was not, really, really high. But what was his will set. I just made that up. I know, I just made that up. His skill set wasn't high, but his will set was. And what happened was, because he was willing to do the work in spite of his nervousness, what ended up happening was there were other students in the district was coming by, seeing him do one haircut, and then they said, hey, can I get my haircut next? Now, the whole thing is that while he was doing it, it was very evident that his hands were shaking. He was lining up, and he was like, you would have thought he had like Parkinson's or something like that. But his hands were shaking so crazy, and you could see the nervousness, but he never turned down the haircuts. And why do I say this? It's because there's a part of you that has to deal with the nervousness. All right. You can't let it bully you anymore. Hey, you're nervous about going to the gym because you're afraid of people seeing you, and you're like, man, I need to put on a hoodie. I need to do this and do that. It's okay. Go to the gym. Go to the park, walk, whatever it is. Hey, you know what? I'm a little embarrassed to go talk to that financial advisor. But guess what? You know how many broke people that there are out there? It's okay. Do it nervous. But whatever you're going to do, whatever way you're going to do, you first have to attack your being. I'm not going to go into that a whole bunch. But what I wanted to, again, highlight is that fear, if you babysit the nervousness and the fear, it will continue to create a reality that is half true. All right, let me say this. Babysitting fear and nervousness can create a half reality, a half truth reality. What do I mean when I say that? When I teach people how to cut hair, when I'm teaching people how to go into relationships, when I'm teaching people how to, become more of a kingdom man or a kingdom husband or whatever the thing might be, at this point, there's always this nervousness that creates a narrative. All right. And so when I'm teaching people how to cut hair, let me just take this. They're like, man, Mr. Johnson, I'm scared because I don't want to mess somebody's hair up. And so you know what? I'm not going to argue with you. What I'm going to say is, hey, yo, it's true. You could mess this person's hair up. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm not going to say it ain't no way. I can say I'm here for you. I can fix it. But the reality is that there is a possibility. There is a possibility that it doesn't go right. Let's just get that out the way. But let's not decline the other side. The other side is, what if you don't? What if you did scale your business and you were thinking that, you know what, maybe this is not the time. Maybe, what if it was? Maybe you're thinking that, hey, maybe I shouldn't go to school. it might not work out, but what if it does? And it's going back to your mindset. I'm not going to go through that part because I talk a lot about mindset, especially in my Patreon. But there is a reality that what if it doesn't work? But then there's also a possibility of it working out perfectly. And what my whole goal is to help that person to shift their mind from thinking automatically about their failure to shift into automatically thinking that there is success waiting on me. All right. And so what we got to identify is that your time is now. If you allow faith to create your reality and not fear, I promise you that there is an emotional reward that comes with that. It is an emotional reward that comes with it. I remember when I first started barbering, man, people probably will not believe me. James, man, what's happening with you, cuz? Thank you. I thought so too. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, you was one of the people that showed me the way. When I first started my barbering career, most people would never believe that I did not believe that people would come and get their haircut by me. I did not believe that there were people out there that wanted to get their haircut by me. I didn't believe that there would be people that would allow me to even practice my skill, because I was thinking that everybody took their haircut so serious that it would never be an opportunity for me to be able to practice or sharpen up my skills. That was a part of my mindset, right? Now, at this place that I'm at now, at this place that I am right now, it was interesting because when I was at this event today, I was doing a haircut just to show, just to show people my skills, so to speak. And just kind of bring a level of attractiveness to the program. They see a nice haircuts, they come around, they gravitate. And what ended up happening was, at this point, there was some students that was asking me, how much did I cut? How much did I charge for haircuts? Side note, interesting. Last year, the kids used to come up to me and say, "How you know how to cut hair? You don't got no hair." I'm like, oh, y'all just don't get it. I used to be spinning, y'all. I know, I used to be spinning. But here it is that they're asking me, how much do I charge? And I say, yo, my lowest haircut is $60 and my most expensive one is $200. Immediately, as soon as they hear that, they're thinking that I'm already good. Now, it was interesting that now there's some people that was like, oh my God, he charged $60, man, that better be like this. And they're saying all of these different things. My whole point is, it took me a lot of time to build up my technical skill and my confidence to be able to get to a place where I charge that. But nobody would have ever believed that when I first started out, that I never believed that people would come and get their haircut. I used to think there was no way that I was gonna make my booth rent. I was always gonna come up short. And who was gonna come to a biracial kid from the inner city Toledo and just come get their haircut by me? I couldn't believe it. And here it is at this point. Now it's hard for me to see myself not cutting hair. It's hard. Now I'm at the place where I don't really want new clients. And it's, not because whatever. I'm ready to get out of getting out of barbering. And that's where y'all come in with y'all likes and shares and all, and all of this. So, but what I'm illustrating is that what if you started something believing that you weren't going to make it, but you did it even though you didn't believe that you could, only to become a totally different person. Let me share another story with this, and I want to show you why it's important to do it nervous. In my first stages, when I was thinking about this, I had support too, that I had 1 or 2 people, 3 people, maybe more than that supported me during my genesis, all right? And now at this point, let me tell you how much I've changed. I hope this makes sense. They're not going to like that I'm saying this. I'm not going to say their name, but I'm going to just say this. When I first moved back to Toledo and I started cutting, I wasn't charging $60 to $200. I was charging $30 to $70. All right, my lowest haircut was $30. My most expensive one was $70. And when I got into this studio, what ended up happening was I started saying, you know what, I'm going to go up to 60 and my most expensive is going to be 200. Now, I had some very close friends. I'm not going to say what their names are. But what they were doing was they were shocked by me jumping up in price. Now, if anybody really knows me, I'm about my money, but I'm not greedy. I'm not greedy, but I am about my money. And they were so blown away by me saying that I was going to go up in my pricing. What they started saying was things like this, and they didn't mean any harm. They didn't. I don't really believe that they meant any harm, but these are the things that they said. And this is important for you to know. All right. One of the things that they said was, bro, how are you going to go from $30 being your lowest point to $60? You're not giving them any more for that? I said, no. Dude, so then your other package that was $40 or $45 now is going to $80? Bro, you're not giving them any more? No, I'm giving them the same. I'm charging more. Bro, this is this city, man. This is not the market where you can charge. This is not Atlanta. This is not Houston. This is not Dallas. This is not Cali. This is not New York. Bro, Philly. They're telling me what market it is. They telling me not to go up on price. They tell me, again, mean no harm. They're just kind of, what they're thinking is being logical. This is what they're doing. And then they say, my brother Tawan cuts hair. All right, he the one that put me on to game. And so then they say, yo, why would somebody pay you $60 with no enhancements when they can go to Tawan for $50 and get enhancements and a great cut? And I said, I don't care what the market, I don't care what market I'm in. The market doesn't dictate me. Like, I'm gonna let people just say no by not showing up. But I'm not waiting on anybody or any person, like any person or any market, to influence my pricing. I'm going to move according to what I want. I move in, I charge what I charge. Guess what? I still have my clientele. Why am I telling you this? You're probably thinking, well, I don't care here. So what does that matter? I'm telling you this because I would have never imagined in my beginning that I would have had the confidence now to understand. I mean, well, one, the comprehension to understand business the way that I understand it now, as well as the confidence to go with the education and the confidence that the understanding and comprehension that I have now to say, this is what I'm charging. What if for you, the thing that you're nervous about, the doing of it is actually what is not really worth the focus? What if the person that you're becoming is actually worth the doing? Because of the person that you're going to become is why it's worth doing the thing that you're going to do. All right. Had I said no to barbering, if you keep saying no to whatever it is that God is putting on your heart, you don't realize that you're circumventing a level of growth that you could end up enjoying because of the fact of the matter that you're focused on what if it doesn't work. All right. And that is half truth at best, half truth. Now, when I say how much I charge now, immediately students thought that I was good. Because now when I say price and they're thinking, man, I don't pay that much, man, this dude has to be good. If he charges 2-3 times more than what I usually charge, what I usually pay, then this dude must be good. And guess what? I am. When they seen the haircut, they knew what it was. Oh my God, bro, that's what a $60 cut look like, bro. You getting that for free? Yeah. But what if at this point, when you run that business, when you start consulting, when you scale your business, when you go and do the thing that God called you to do, that immediately, soon as you speak from what you do, people already believe something about you. That's what it's about. What if when I speak about what I do and how much I charge and what I do, people are already looking at me and saying, yo, he got to be successful. Man, oh, she talking about shame on them. No, I needed that. It's all about timing. Had I heard things like that when I went from cutting at home to the shop when I first started, that probably would have broke me. But when I left home to work at this shop in this time, I was able to handle it. I was able to handle it. And it's all because of the person that I have become on this journey. And I promise you, the same thing can happen. I promise you, the same thing can happen for you. And I hope that you can start getting excited about the person that you can become during this process of doing something. And then you will identify what you're able to have because of it. More than the money, more than anything, I have a journey, a story that I'm able to share with students that I have. When I started barbering, while I was thinking about being afraid to cut hair, I never thought that I would be building up confidence to be able to teach students. I never thought that. I never cared about doing. I was so focused on one haircut, and if I would do good, I never thought that I would end up being good enough to be able to teach somebody how to do it. Or maybe even if I wasn't good enough technically, at least I could articulate and coach somebody through what it took to at least get better. The funny thing about it is that the position that I have in teaching wasn't predicated on my doing. The position that I have right now, one of the positions that I have right now actually was never predicated on how well I did a haircut. Me being a barber instructor or me having a job title or job responsibility of a barber instructor actually wasn't predicated on how good I only cut hair. It was actually due to the person that I become. So if I'm not getting paid through a school district because of how good I cut hair, then what can I attach that to? The favor of God, the blessing of God, and how he's given me the opportunity and he's developed me throughout this process to be able to get a position and now exercise who I am as a person, to now nurture and care for the mindsets of people that are now developing themselves as well as their technical skill in a craft that I have with these hands, by the grace of God, being able to feed myself, then feed my wife, then feed my one daughter, then feed my two daughters, and then a dog too. So I never thought that. I never knew what I was going to be saying yes to. All right. And what if you keep saying no? What if you keep saying no? What if you keep saying no to the thing that God is placing in your life? And because you're so focused on the doing, you're robbing yourself of who you could become. I'm not going to keep going on a rant with that. Let me take a sip of my ginger beer. Can y'all hear me swallow? My Adam's apple sometimes pierces this throat. Don't let your regret keep you upset. All right. Not capitalizing on the opportunities. When you don't capitalize on your piece, let me say this. All right. Don't let regret keep you upset. Understand how to be able to capitalize on the opportunities that are presented to you. Now, I wrote down this story, and this is funny because how do I want to walk this out? I got this story, and I'm gonna just use his name. So my brother Enrique, all right. I remember when I was first teaching in Indianapolis, and he was talking to me about how he went to this event, and when he went to this event, there was a magician there, and I wish I had like that little like the little, I don't know what sound that just sounded like. I can't hear it, but it was this magician that he went to go see, and he asked for 2 participants, and Enrique had he wanted to really go up. He wanted to go up. He didn't go up. And then there was a part of him that said, you know what, I'm about to get up. And right when he got up, 2 people went up. He missed the opportunity. He talked about how much he regretted that because he really wanted to be a part of it and he didn't. Then he had another one. He learns how to cut hair. We're going through class. He ends up working at this job. I know when he watches this, he can be like, man, this is crazy. He works at this job where a lot of athletes used to come to this restaurant. And it ended up at this time, Jacoby Brissett which was a quarterback of the Colts at that time. He comes into the restaurant. Enrique sees him. And Enrique calls me and says, yo, Mr. Johnson, Jacoby Brissett is here, and I really want to tell him about how I cut hair, and just, it'd be like a good exercise for me. He could let him know that he cuts hair, and maybe he might land a job. And so, but he says, but I could get fired if I talk to him because my job tells me not to go and talk to these people who are trying to solicit business or whatever. Like, don't be no groupie, quote unquote. So I say, is it worth it to you to get fired to take that risk? And he's like, yeah, it is. And I was like, well, why didn't you already do it? He's like, I don't know. I just kind of was thinking about it. He gets off I said, man, go ahead, man. If you're going to lose your job for that, bro, it worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, who you're going to develop as a person by just doing it. You can just go through and get the rep. He says, all right, cool. Click. Goes out. Jacoby Brissett is gone. Why am I saying this? Capitalize on the opportunities when they're presented, because if you do not, a piece of you dies. A piece of you dies. I can't tell you how many single men that I've talked to that, like a girl, I tell them to go say something. I tell them what to say. They don't do it. And that regret chips away at them. It chips away. You do not know how many people have talked to me and they talking about how they want to build this business. Oh, they thinking about going back to school and finishing out their degree, even though they got a couple credits and they right now they don't know, and they trying to balance, family and work. And if they got to go, and I'm like, hey, if that's something that you're led to do, then go ahead and do it. They don't do it. And then they look at the time that go by and then they hate their job just a little bit more. And then they're saying, man, I wish I would have just went back and just did this. Part of them dies. A part of somebody says, man, you know what? I was sensing that God wanted me to pray for this person and I didn't pray for this person. And now I'm thinking about, man, I wonder if they going through this more because of the fact of the matter I didn't say the thing that God put on my heart. I wonder if they're dealing with something longer than what they're supposed to, because I didn't just say, hey, do you mind if I pray for you? And a part of you just feels like, there we go again. Great idea, terrible execution. And it feels like a part of you dies. And then what happens is you go to sleep regretting. Then that regret, what happens is that regret gets to chipping away at you. And what starts to happen is you start to tell yourself that you're going to do a certain thing. Let me change the angle just for y'all, just for the sake of attention spans. Then a part of you starts to say, well, I'm going to do this. All right, I'm going to eat cleaner. I'm going to make sure I balance my budget. I'm going to make sure I do this, this, and that. And you don't do it. And you notice that every time that you start to build up regret, you're starting to break down your confidence. Now, low self-confidence is birthed from low self-credibility. The people that have high levels of confidence is because they have a high level of credibility within themselves. They say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. People that struggle with confidence issues and all of these things like that, it's because they say something. And this is good right here. Hold on, I got to take a little swig of this real quick. This is going to be good. Hold on. Let me see something real quick. Okay. Let me let you in on a secret of if you're dealing with low self-confidence. If you're dealing with low self-confidence, let me let you into something. The reason why you deal with low self-confidence is because you are the only person in this world that knows every lie that you've told yourself. And when people see that you're not doing something, what they don't hear is all the times that you told yourself that you were going to do something and you didn't do it. But you know. And so when people are looking like, hey, you're so confident with this. And they're just expecting that, the confidence is automatic. But what they don't realize is in the background, you know all the times you said you were going to do something and you didn't do it. Me included. You're the only person that knows every lie that you've ever told. And when people are thinking and they see you out and they're thinking that you're so confident as a person, yet and still, you're like, I've been faking. Yeah, you see me, you know what? That's become automatic to me. But when it comes to this thing, when it comes to that thing, that ain't me. I'm confident in doing that thing, but I'm not confident. Because the reason why I'm not confident is because I know that outside of that thing that I do, I'm always lying about saying I'm going to do something that I don't do. So what is the cure? The cure is watch what you say you're going to do. Watch what you say you're going to do. Because here's the reality. On a subconscious level, if you say that you're going to do something and you don't do it, the reason doesn't matter. The reason doesn't matter. Your subconscious mind does not care about the reason of why you didn't do something. If you say you're going to do something and you don't do it subconsciously, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, you know that you don't have that release of accomplishing the thing that you said you're going to accomplish. So maybe you want to change a whole bunch of things in your life in one day. And you create this list of things that you want to do. You get excited. You've heard Michael T. Johnson II here on at Faithful and Fresh. You heard it. You got motivated and you started trying to change every aspect of your life. You started writing goals. You started picking out everything that you want to do. Next day, you maybe do two things. You hurt yourself. Why? Because you're trying to grow too fast. So what am I getting to? Again, if you want to be able to build up levels of confidence, self-confidence, you have to build up your level of self-credibility. Let me switch back real quick. So when we look at these things, we have to identify if you're ready, you're set, then you go. But if you're not ready, if you're not set, and you're not ready to go, we got to do this work. All right. Now, building up the confidence is going to happen through a level of discipline. Let me tell you right now, there are some ways that can be easier than other ways, but there is no easy way to be disciplined. All right. There is no easy way to be disciplined. I know that there's people out there that are selling course and telling you, you can do it with 3 simple tricks. Yeah. Simple don't mean necessarily easy. All right. Simple don't necessarily mean easy. And if you get anybody that's telling you that you can just be disciplined easy, it's not. It takes a level of awareness. It takes a level of intentionality. All right. So we have to identify first that this level of confidence has to come from a level of credibility. If you are not credible within yourself, you won't be credible with anybody else. One of the issues is that sometimes we end up lying to ourselves so much, and because we're the only person that knows that we lie, and other people don't know how many times we've lied, we try to depend or lean on somebody else to maybe be the level of confidence for us, maybe to be the certain level of faith for us, because they don't really know how timid you are. They don't really, based off what they don't know how much you've been lying to yourself. They don't see how nervous you are. So you know what? Maybe I can just talk kind of confidently with them, and then at this point, they'll help me and kind of give me that little oomph over this little hill. And what ends up happening most of the time is that you start to game plan or dream or mastermind with other people. They see you still don't end up doing the work from the easy stuff. All right, phase 1. All right, bro, we're going to get this business. Bro, you just read, one of us got to read the book. One of us going to have to do the budget. One of us going to have to buy the course. You take 3 jobs. You figure out between 3 guys, which one going to do all 3, which one is going to do one of the 3. You like, you know what? Okay. Cool. I'm gonna read the book because I know y'all like. I'm gonna read the book, bro. You get the budget, you buy the course. They bought the course. They do the other work. They ask you, did you read the book? You're like, no, I didn't read it. Now at this point, you're holding them hostage because again, you said you were going to do something, you don't do it. Then what happens is you start to create an environment that no longer. Well, let me say it like this: you start to create a message to people that you don't take things serious. And then what happens is you get an environment of people that don't take that know not to take you serious, that you love staying in the dreamland. You don't like putting in the work. And then people start to identify you. And not only have you now destroyed your credibility with yourself, but you've also now destroyed your credibility to other people. And now you're trying to figure out how is it that at this point, how is it that, man, you know what? How is it that I'm going to get out of this? I've been lying to myself saying I was going to do this and I didn't do it. Then I had a couple friends that was actually wanting to do it and they was actually going to band together with me. And here it is. I said I want to do it with them and we're going to have workout partners and we're going to save our money. We're going to have this money goal and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We're going to read the Bible every day together. We're going to do you. And then they see that you fall off. And now they don't want to deal with me because I done burnt the bridge. My credibility, my credit score with them is terrible. All right. And at this point now, you're now like, I'm just by myself. And now all you can do is hear the lies. Man, you said you was going to do this last year. What's so different about 2026 that you ain't did it in 25? What's so 25? You know, you every 5 years, you do 25 and then 30. So I did 25. Well, 26 don't seem that significant. I said in 2020, I was going to do this. I didn't do it. 25, I came here quick. I didn't do anything. 26, What's so different about 26 and 25? And at this point now, you start to create this broken record of, I'm going to be a failure. Ain't no point. Might as well just stick with this job. I guess I could figure out a way. Maybe I can invest some of my money. Maybe I'll put more money into my 401k. Yeah, that's it. Maybe that's the way I'll be a millionaire, because maybe I can't just do it through a business. Maybe I'll just buy a dog. Maybe I'll get a cat. And at this point, you just start now figuring out a way to accommodate low self-esteem, low self-credibility. And now at this point, you're no longer ready. You're no longer set. You're no longer ready to go. So what I urge you to do is, if you have an issue with being able to be confident, if you have a issue ultimately with being able to keep credibility within yourself, these are things, and again, this sounds like a sales thing. I don't care if you do or don't get into it. Let me put it like this. I can't remember how much I pay for YouTube TV and YouTube Premium. I think it's $30-$40. And I think YouTube TV might be $60-$70 or something like that. I don't know how much it is. And YouTube Premium might be like $15-$20. I don't know how much it is. I'm sorry, y'all. I should have thought about this before, but I'm just kind of going off the head. That's just two apps: YouTube Premium and YouTube TV. All right. I paid at least $70 to $80 for that alone. We're not talking about ESPN or Prime or Netflix or anything like that. If you don't get the Patreon because you don't, oh, well, you know what? What if the $10? What if what he's talking about on there is a scam? What if it doesn't fit me? You can always go back to your regular programming. Guess what? A lot of people buy subscriptions for $10, $20, and they look through it. They didn't watch the movies that they want to watch. They know it ain't nothing on there. They're waiting for a Tyler Perry series or movie to come out. They tired of watching the same movies but they still keep it. They still keep it. All right. And what I'm just sharing is that at this point, if you're not willing to take the time out to invest into yourself, it doesn't matter if it's not me. Find you somebody. But if you want to be able to build up a level of credibility within yourself, you want to build up your confidence, utilize the Patreon. All right. If you don't want to do a Patreon and you're like, you know what, watch the YouTube videos, go back and watch some of my lives on Instagram or whatever, or find other people. I don't mind pointing you in the right direction. But I can only say this. I was afraid to cut hair. I thought my identity, let me say this, like, let me show you how much of my insecurity bled through into my doing. My being bled through into my doing and my having. I thought because I was Indian and black, and I have more of an aesthetic that is more closer to a Eastern look than a Western inner city African American. I look more like an Arabic guy than I do an African American. I thought that it was going to disqualify me from haircuts. All right. I thought that was going to disqualify me from haircuts. Also, I didn't know a whole bunch of people. At least even if I didn't know a lot that was going to allow me to practice on them. I didn't know where I was going to cut. I didn't know how much I was going to charge. I didn't feel comfortable with telling people how I charge. You know, let me tell you what's so crazy. I felt awkward about pushing people's head around when I'm cutting their hair. Like, I didn't even want to touch people's head. That's how much of me was nervous. I went from that to making hundreds of thousands of dollars in barbering for years. Then go into insurance and real estate and now education and done the same thing. Now at this point, I've came into social media. I went from being a biracial kid from inner city, going to school with predominantly African-American people and being a honeycomb in a Cocoa Puff box. And here it is, and I mean no disrespect when I say that, if y'all get the color contrast. Here it is, I go through this only to get to a place at this point, and I'm not saying I'm better than anybody in regards intrinsically, but I've made a couple decisions. And even though I might have not believed throughout my trial that I was going to make it, I still did the work. I kept churning my feet. It's just, I didn't think about this until just now. There was, I almost probably shouldn't say it because I almost don't even know the story, how to say it the right way. And it was this movie I like called Catch Me If You Can. It's Leonardo DiCaprio's dad is giving a speech and he's talking about, I think, two mice or something that was in like a bowl, and it was a bowl of milk, and both of them couldn't get out, and they were trying to get out this bowl, and one of them just said, you know what, I tried to get out, they slipped, and they went back into the bowl, and he just drowned, and he died. The other one kept churning his feet, the milk turned into butter, he climbed on top of the butter and got out. It was something like that, I don't know, crazy like that. And the whole thing is that my nervousness didn't stop me from making an effort. Now, what my effort was, maybe it was an F, maybe it was a D, maybe at certain days it was a B or an A effort. But I can tell you right now, more days than not, at the very best, it was a C. It was a C grade effort at best. But for some odd reason, although I was nervous, I kept going, I kept trying. There were days that I wanted to quit. And that's when my support made sure, sometimes by force or by heavy influence, let me put it that way, made sure that I kept going. And at this point, I want you to be able to experience the same thing. Because superficially, the money doesn't matter. My cousin Marlon is on here, man. One of my, I hate to use this word, and I don't want to say favorite cousin, one of my favorite cousins, but I'll put it like this. Somebody that inspires me, and one of my biggest inspirations in my family when it comes to entrepreneurship. And he know I pick his brain. I talk to him, he come in the city, I'm talking to him about all type of questions. Talking about real estate, because it ain't no way that you're going to lose, and you always got something that you're going to, he always put me on game. And what I can identify throughout this is that we can all identify that the money, those that end up getting to that place or break through that 100,000, six figures threshold or even more, you end up realizing that the money really doesn't matter as much as the knowledge that you've gained, the lessons that you've learned, and the person that you become. I'm not just saying, let me give you the inverse. I'm not saying that everybody that doesn't make money is low value, people that don't have experiences that are worth anything, that haven't learned. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there are certain lessons that you learn to develop as you are going on this road. Some of them is something as easy as being able to shift and change the people that surround you. Sometimes it's about saying no to hanging out when people want to go club. And sometimes it's about not worrying about what new pair of Jordans is coming out. Sometimes it's not about how fast this Hemi can go. Sometimes it's not about a new bottle of alcohol that comes out. Sometimes it's not about what new TV. Sometimes it's just making those small adjustments and saying no to those things that everybody else is saying yes to. And sometimes you just realize, that 1 degree of separation over time created a great gap between me and them. Financially, emotionally, physically, and so forth and so on. So if that's something that you're looking for, again, check the comments, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm sorry if I didn't put the link inside of there. Danny, what's happening? But if you have a chance, check that out. Check it out. I cannot express this enough because guess what? I'm going to go up on my Patreon. I'm going to go up on my pricing on that. And there's going to be even much more things to come. And just for instance, somebody said this and it was like, I'm going to say this just to kind of put this out here in the air. Somebody was like, hey, why don't you have guests on your podcast, man? That'd be super cool because I got like a cool setup and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. But do y'all know the reason why I don't do that right now? Is because right now I'm developing my skill set. I appreciate every single person that comes in and watches my live. But I don't do this because I know that people are going to watch. I have no idea who's going to watch this. Do you know that there's sometimes that same residue of doubt from when I started barbering as it is on social media? What if nobody watches my content? What if I'm not viral? How long is it going to take for me to get good? I still have those same thoughts sometimes. But guess what? It's not going to stop me. I wouldn't care if it was one person in here, no people in here. My wife watches, but if she didn't, I wouldn't get mad at her. If nobody watches, I wouldn't care. You know why? Because I'm developing a skill set. And then the ones that are watching, guess what? Just like when people say, man, I remember when you was this big. That's what they're going to say about the channel. Man, I remember when you just started. Bro, now you going crazy, bro. Thank you. But the reason why I didn't build this channel up with some other personality, not because I'm selfish and I want everybody to look at me. No, because I'm developing the skill of being able to communicate, being able to get comfortable in front of the camera. And guess what? People know that. People ask me questions. I have great conversation about it. They don't even know I'm sweating like crazy up under this suit. That's why I wore black. But whatever it is that you are trying to get better at and you're doing, understand this. It's only going to happen in your belief system. If your belief system upgrades, you're doing well, and the things that you're able to have will upgrade as well. I love you. I hope that this helps you. If you are not ready, set to go, then make sure that you do the work, identify and create a chief, definite aim at what it is that you want to do. Don't overload yourself with too much work at one time. It's probably took a lot of time to build this issue that you have. It's probably going to take a little time to at least create the change that's going to build up your confidence. But it only takes a moment to change. All right, that's what I got for right now. I'll catch you next time. But until then, stay faithful, my friends. Peace.